Okay, have you ever gotten to the soccer field and your kid says, I forgot my cleats? I'm not promising that this tip today will prevent that from ever happening, but it does make it fewer and far between. Let me just tell you, we have 4 kids in our family and they're all in multiple different sports. So we never know like what is coming or what is going. And we're trying to control all the bags. Let me just tell you a couple of the things that we do to make sports and activities a little bit easier. One tip that someone told us early on in our dance days was to keep all of your items together and just ready to throw in the bag. That works well for things that don't necessarily need washed every time, which is kind of gross when we think about dance costumes. But if you can keep it all ready to go and just get ready to throw in the giant bag, that definitely helps. I live and die by my lists. So for dance, our studio director gives us a list of costumes and all of the pieces that need to be for every costume. So earrings, accessories, all of that information is on this list. And so then every time we get ready to go to that competition, recital, I'll pull out this list and my daughter and I sit down and we pull out every costume, all of the accessories, and we check it off to make sure that we have it together. We do that together because I want her to have some ownership in that too. But I also want to check because it's kind of a big deal if we don't have one of those pieces. So for big things like competitions, games, tournaments, I make sure I check over those things as well because we've put a lot of time and energy into getting there that we want to make sure they have all of the pieces and parts that they need to compete properly. We don't need an extra stress. I'll be kind of that checks and balances. But for things like practice, we do keep a bag for every sporting activity. And it's really up to my children to make sure that they have the items that they need for practice. So we keep things like the swim bag ready to go. And it is up to my son to make sure that he has his kickboard, he has his fins, he has his goggles, he has his towel. Have we gone to practice before and forgotten a towel? We have, and he has been very cold on the way home. Small price to pay. Guess what? We haven't forgotten the towel for a very long time. One of the ways that we make sure we have all of the pieces and parts to the practice bags is we have these checklists on their bags. We have these checklists on their practice bags so that way they can quickly look and see visually, do they have all of the things in their bag that they need for practice? There are some on the site. You can see those in the description. You can make your own also. I like to use board maker pictures because they're very visual and clean and clear, and it's very universal symbols. So for instance, for soccer, it has on here her shirt, her jersey, her shin guards, shorts, socks, soccer ball, cleats, and water bottle. If you have a goalie, you're gonna need goalie gloves, all of those things, but we just then keep all of that stuff in here. And if for some reason, she'll need to get in there and put in new socks, but her cleats are in here, her shin guards, all of those things in the bag ready to go, and she can check it, and I can tell her as we're getting ready to go out the door or the night before, hey, check your tag, make sure you have all of those pieces and parts in your bag and ready to go. For things like games, one of the things we realized very quickly this year was there's a lot of pieces and parts to a soccer kit. We didn't know. And my son was keeping track of 2 different sets of kits. So I made him a quick checklist that I just laid all of the pieces and parts of his kit out on the floor and I took a picture of it. And then I made a list of the extra things he needs in addition to what's in the picture. So he would need his cleats, his shin guards, and his sleeves. Sleeves are like the things here. I didn't know that, I learned it. You can totally do this with any of the things. It would be great. I kind of think I want to do it for dance, lay all of the pieces and parts out. If you have an iPhone or another phone that takes the background out, that's great too, because then it's a little bit cleaner than just like my rug in the background. But you can take a picture and then make a list of the other items that need to go in there as well to make sure that they're checking off and they're looking to see, do I have all of those pieces and parts? It's really helpful, especially even as a mom, as you're doing their laundry, you can kind of see, did I get all of the pants? Did I get all of the shorts? Did I get all of the jerseys to wash? And did I get them back to where they need to be? I have a spot in my laundry room where I keep the things that I've washed because I've spent too many Saturday mornings on the quick hunt looking for the blue soccer jersey that morning or the baseball pants. So when I wash them, I just keep them on a little shelf in my laundry room. So that way I wash them, put them there, and they know they can go in there and look for it. We even have things like practice jerseys that they have to wear now. So I keep all of those practice jerseys on that shelf as well by child. So that way they know where they're at. So big thing, have your children have some ownership into gathering all of their things. Create some type of checklist for yourself. Visual schedules are always going to be my go-to. So create a visual schedule. You don't have to put this on your high schooler's bag because that would maybe be embarrassing, but put it in their room so that way they're in charge of checking it out. Put it inside their bag, hide it so their friends don't see it. But listen, I made some of these for the friends' moms on the team and they were really appreciative too. Things probably are still getting lost, but have lists, have packing lists. Keep your bags packed and ready to go. If you have little siblings that are going to events also, one of the things that I suggest is creating a go bag for them. So things with maybe some snacks that are not perishable, games, all of those like McDonald's toys that you don't really care about, throw those in a bag so that way you have something to take and keep the younger children occupied. Some of the things I put in those to-go bags for children are the McDonald's toys, paper, colored pencils. I don't usually put crayons because it gets hot. It gets real hot here in Kentucky. So we don't want that melting in our bag if we leave it in our car or something like that. But colored pencils, paper, toys that you don't really care about. When you start to see things are missing pieces, throw them in that to-go bag so they have something new, something they don't get to play with all the time at home, and that will keep them occupied while they're there. And it's things that you don't care if they fall under the bleachers or get left in the sand at the ball field, but it's ready to go. So before heading to your next sporting event or practice, remember some of these tips. If you have a fellow bleacher parent who would benefit from this episode, send it to them. I'll see you next time on Dear Grown-Ups.